State and spell your name for the record.
My name is Fadil Biraimah, first name F-A-D-I-L, last name B-I-R-A-I-M-A-H.
Thank you.
So will you tell the jury who you work for?
Yes, for the Los Angeles Police Department Forensic Science Division.
And how long have you worked for LAPD?
Just shy of 20 years.
Are you a police officer?
No.
Where do you work within LAPD?
So I'm a civilian employee. I'm a criminalist employed at the Forensic Science Division, essentially the crime lab.
Is the laboratory that you work in an accredited lab?
It is.
And what's your job title at the laboratory?
I'm a criminalist 3.
How long specifically have you been a criminalist
For 19 years, almost 20.
The entire time that you worked?
Yes.
What unit are you currently assigned to within the lab?
Within the lab, I've actually just recently been assigned to the toxicology unit. It's a very recent assignment. I've been in firearms for about the 20 years prior to that.
Okay. You say very recent. When was that transfer made?
January 13th.
Of this year?
Yes.
Okay. Your entire time before that, you said you worked in the firearm analysis unit?
Correct.
Okay. Can you give the jury just a broad idea of what your job duties entail when you worked in the firearm analysis unit?
So a criminalist in the firearms unit, we are primarily trained to perform work within the laboratory. That's where we spend most of our time. We perform the analysis of firearms and firearm-related evidence. This is the type of analysis that's commonly referred to as ballistic comparison. We call it firearm identification. In addition to this, we respond to the field in order to process crime scenes, particularly shooting scenes and officer-involved shootings are our main field obligations. We generate reports regarding these analyses and testify about them in court.
When you're specifically analyzing firearms and firearm-related components, can you give the jury an idea of what some of those items are that you're looking at?
Yes, so we are trained in the operation and structure of a wide range of different firearms. A firearm for us is a device that propels a projectile by means of combustions. So this wouldn't really include airsoft guns, things of that nature. But firearms, which actually fire live cartridges or ammunition, during the discharge process, they will actually cause marks to be impressed onto those ammunition components. So this is a large part of our responsibilities, is to perform the microscopic comparison of fired ammunition components. These can be bullets or cartridge cases, with the aim of determining what types of firearms they might be compatible with, or actually continuing to determine whether two items have been fired in the same firearm or were eliminated as having been fired in the same firearm.
Can you tell the jury about your educational background, any training or experience that you have that qualifies you to perform those functions that you just described in the lab of comparing firearms and firearm-related components?
Yes, well, entry-level criminalists have a natural chemistry, natural science background. I have a degree in biochemistry. This prepares you for most of the work in the crime lab, but to perform the analyses in the firearm analysis unit, we complete another lengthy training program. This is the firearm examiner training program. It has a duration of about 2.5 years. It includes lecture, literature review, and live fire exercises. By these means, we We learn about the structure and function of ammunition. We learn to operate a wide range of different firearms. And we actually spent about an 18-month period training on microscopes in order to perform the comparison of discharge fire components. I completed that training program in 2009. I spent the following decade as a full-time firearm examiner. Each year of that period, I was tested by an outside firm in order to maintain my qualification. I am also certified by the Association of Firearm and Toolmark Examiners. This is the premier professional organization in my field, certified in the area of firearm examination and identification. In the course of my work there, I've performed the examination of more than 3,600 items of evidence, logged more than 600 hours in the processing of crime scenes, and about 6 years ago I advanced to the position of Criminals 3. So in addition to the duties I've described, I also do training of other firearm examiners. I work on special projects and research for the firearm analysis unit.
Do you continue to attend professional organization meetings to maintain your proficiency in firearm analysis?
Yes, during that period, under our accreditation requirements, it's encouraged for us to have continuing education. So I've completed, I believe, about 575 hours of additional coursework outside of the actual department. This includes workshops and training from some of the leading professionals in my industry, as well as certain agencies such as the California Criminalistics Institute, which is operated by the California Department of Justice.
You mentioned that you were tested by an outside vendor, outside of LAD, right?
Yes.
Are those commonly called proficiency tests?
Yes.
And are they required to maintain your accreditation?
Yes, the lab is accredited, and requirements for that, we must participate in proficiency testing by approved vendors outside of our actual agency.
And are those tests graded? Those proficiency tests?
Yes, they're evaluated.
And have you successfully completed them?
Yes.
Approximately how many times do you think you've testified in court about firearm and tool mark identification?
I'd say over 60 times. I testified around 75 times in total, but that includes testifying about field work as well.
Okay. In a general sense, what was the, let's start with, you were assigned as a criminalist in this case, correct?
Yes.
And what was the task that you were assigned to complete specifically related to this case?
I was tasked with the analysis of two ammunition components. These are cartridge cases, discharged cartridge cases, or a type of examination that we call type and caliber determination.
Your Honor, I'm going to move into a different area. Do you want me to start that? Or?
Well, it's close enough. We'll break down.
Sure. We put it on time for a second before you go through and come back.
Okay. Is it Biraimah or Biraimah? B or D? First letter of your last name.
B as in boy.
B is in boy. All right, jurors have left. What do you want to bring up? Your Honor, there was a question that was asked of the detective on the stand. And the question involved video during my full counsel's the question involved whether or not there was video that was available that would have shown the witness and his girlfriend had that given the time that was involved.
Right.
And the court indicated that they showed up after the video stopped.
Right.
Mr. Siegel said, the court sustained objection, but I believe I heard Mr. Siegel say, that doesn't mean they didn't have the video. Now, if, listen,
Right?
yeah, that's not what I said. Okay, so I would just ask, again, because of my 4 hearings, I'm not the best reporter of this, but I just want to ask if the court reporter can check if that line is in there, because if the jury heard that, if I heard it right, and if the jury heard it, that's
Repeat
wrong.
what you think you heard.
I thought I heard him say, in reference, that doesn't mean they didn't have the video. Meaning, in essence, that we would have had a video.
Hold on, I'm writing that. That doesn't mean they.
Didn't have the video. So, and again, maybe I heard it wrong because I don't hear right, but I mentioned it as soon as I heard it. I objected. I couldn't make a speaking objection, so we had to bring it up after the jury was gone. So I would just ask that
Right,
that
so I can understand. The question was, would something, if the video stopped at 11:20, would something that occurred at 11:45 appear on the video that stopped 25 minutes earlier?
It was during one of those couple of questions involving Mr. Presendick. He asked about the victim, he also asked about his girlfriend. I believe it was a question about the girlfriend in the video. And
All right, can you look for that? Do you, was that your question?
That wasn't the objection.
So,
Can you just look for those words?
Thank you.
All right, see everybody at 1:45.
and Mr. Brizia said, Mr. Biraimah said,